going to invite you now to find a comfortable seat. Maybe thinking about how the body can be positioned for relaxed diligence. And then inviting a pause. Inviting mindfulness, a knowing of what is present. Arriving right in this moment. And maybe noticing if the body needs to move a little bit in some different way to be comfortable. There is a body. The body is in some position. And is the body in a position that's supportive? Supportive of knowing this present moment experience. And arriving right into this moment. And arriving into what is known. What's happening right now? Pausing. Allowing space. Maybe to notice, is there an intention for your practice today? And pausing, allowing this space and time to know what is right now. What's happening? And possibly noticing, how is the mind right at this moment? and inviting relax, softening, inviting ease. And maybe receiving, it's just like this right now. Maybe inviting the renunciation of judgment or inclining towards fixing things or comparing to the past or future or to others. Maybe inviting that renunciation and seeing, is there ease available right now? Ease with whatever is present. A receiving and allowing things just like this. They're just like this. Inviting the heart and the mind to incline towards kindness, compassion, maybe learning to delight in whatever joy is found. Equanimity and ease, softening. Knowing just what is without argument. Maybe even welcoming things just as they are. And now, an invitation to slowly open the eyes and invite opening. Opening to the environment you're in, whatever's you see or hear. Slowly, gently, with kindness. And then opening to our Insight Dialogue practice partners today. So good to see you all. And just noticing as you look at each of our partners today, in all of our boxes on this Zoom, in this Zoom Sangha room here, and just notice what arises. Gratitude. Gratitude for the practice and gratitude for your presence. So I'm now going to pass over to Bea.
Thank you, Marsha. And thank you for this practice. I feel gratitude to be here offering this talk. And the invitation in this talk is to explore the comparing mind. And maybe one place to start our exploration together is remembering that when our hearts are blinded by fear, the concepts of the self and other and the experience of separation arises. The self emerges during the evolution as a way to protect us from the environment and to make it easier to get some food or some shelter. But with the conceits of self and other comes distance, aversion, and comparison to each other. And when the comparing mind arises, the conceits of superior, inferior, or equal arise. I am the best at doing that. I am not able to do that. I do that like everyone else. Once a Zen master was asked, what is the fundamental ignorance of the humanity? And he replied that I am here and you are there. That I am here and you are there. Que yo estoy aquí y tú estás ahí, in Spanish. Que yo estoy aquí y tú estás allí. And we miss in that ignorance the wisdom of being in relationship, the sense of oneness. The trance of separation rises and rises like a wall between us. The self makes us feel protected. We ask for refuge in the I, me, mine, but maybe this is a false refuge. A false safety is generated, which in turn separates us, isolates us within ourselves. And the trance of separation manifests itself in the conceits of superior, inferior, or equal to other living beings. And with the interpersonal contact, that happens all the time. Is this person better than me? Is this person worse? Is equal? And we feel this so convincingly that we cannot see the walls of the prison in which we are locked in. The comparing mind co-arises with feelings of separation and may be triggered by feelings like fear, pride, shame, ignorance of what is happening now, or some sensation, pressure on my chest, wanting to escape, thoughts that I'm not good enough. Also comparing mind as a comparison with an standard or ideas the things should be. This is a tangle. And how to get out of this tangle? Observing the arising and passing of these feelings, sensation, thoughts, open a door to liberation. The entrapment arises when we lock ourselves into the conceits. The conceits, in this case, to be superior, inferior, or equal. These conceits lock us into a false, solid, and permanent reality. And this reality seems as true and impossible to change. Maybe if we notice the prison in which conceits lock us in, will it be possible to find the way out? Will it be possible to find the way out? The invitation of this talk is to familiarize us with what happens when the comparing mind arises. And the invitation is to lean into the pause and relax, to open us to explore this territory. And one way to do that maybe is to bring to mind, for some instance, a situation where you felt that the comparing mind arose, maybe in the form of the idea to be superior, inferior, or equal. Please don't bring to the mind now a very painful memory, just medium memory, to explore but not to being overwhelmed. Take your time, just a few minutes, a moment where you felt to be superior, inferior, equal. What triggered that idea? Can you ask yourself what triggered that idea? Maybe was there fear, shame, pride? Can you observe what comes up in the form of sensations, feelings, thoughts? Maybe observe that, if it is possible, just as a flow of energy, no yet labeled, without judging, just a flow of energy. Maybe you can call for the pause, relax, and open to this exploration together. Just see for yourself what happens in this moment. Because in today's practice, the invitation is to contemplate comparison as a conceit that builds walls between us. The comparison that separates us and fails to recognize our relational nature. In contrast, our relational nature welcomes diversity and does not label what is diverse as better or worse than what is known. Welcomes diversity. What if we open ourselves to stay with whatever arises and explore the possibility of letting go of the conceits of being superior, inferior, or equal of that other? what arises in this body, mind, heart. And now, in a few moments, we are going to be invited to practice inside dialogue in groups of 3 and in small rooms. And the invitation is to bring curiosity to whatever comes up. And when the conceits of the superior, inferior, or equal arise, maybe the invitation is to ask yourself, is this true? Is this really true? Is this really, 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 really true? ¿Es verdad? ¿Es realmente, 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 realmente verdad? And for the exploration, please do not choose one experience for this dialogue that has had a high emotional impact, but rather something in between, so that it is meaningful for you to explore, but at the same time it's not necessary to being overwhelmed. And in the small rooms, please share whatever you want to share without forcing yourself to share anything that you can't or you don't want. It is not necessary to share the content. Maybe it could be enough to share the feelings, the sensation, the thoughts. It may sound like in a personal situation. In a personal situation, I was afraid. And now when I remember now this situation, I feel some pressure in my stomach. I thought that I could not speak, that I was not able to express myself, that I am speaking in another mother tongue. And this is a trigger for me. It's a trigger of discomfort, and it closes me in myself. And I am now inviting myself to feel whatever it emerges. And maybe invite myself to let go of the idea to be inferior, or having to be equal, or having to be superior. For the exploration in the small room, choose your way, please, and stay very close to your felt sensation on your body, embracing some tension if it arises, orienting ourselves to the kindness and the confidentiality, and refraining to give advice or recommendation, allowing someone to find and to explore for themselves. And some practical consideration: if you lose connection or your partner lose connection, maybe you can stay in the small room and continue with the individual meditation, or always you can come back to the main room when we will be here to support you in whatever you need. Or or if you need one of us come to the small room, please press to the function of ask for help. The structure of this practice is in groups of 3. There will be a listener and a speaker, separate listener and speaker. And each of you have 5 minutes, and there will be an open dialogue at the end, 9 minutes. We will send banners indicating the times and the contemplation. The contemplation is what emerges? If I notice the comparing mind, and when invite to let go of the conceits of inferior, superior, or equal, what emerges? If I notice the comparing mind, and then I can invite the letting go of the conceits to be superior, inferior, or equal. Stay close to the body, mind, and asking the support of the guidelines. Maybe before going to the small rooms, maybe are there any questions? Are we ready to go and maybe to enjoy the practice? See for yourself. When you want, Nancy.
For that contemplation, for that invitation to practice. So right now, my invitation to you is to pause for 2 minutes. If this is a time when you need to stretch or take a quick break, please do that, or stay in your seats and pause. Just for a couple minutes, please. So hello, dear ones. Good to see you. And the invitation now is to settle into your seat. We're pausing. And there'll be a little bit more guided meditation now. So find that comfortable seat, that place where there can be relaxed diligence. And I'm going to read into the group a poem. The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. She may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in, being grateful for whoever comes. What is present now, inviting mindfulness. And now, as you start to contemplate speaking into the large group, what conceits arise in this transition? Oh, that person speaks so much better than I do into the group. And then, receiving that, relaxing. It's just like this. There's that old habit. Is any freedom noticed in that receiving? Accepting, knowing, and maybe not. What's your present moment experience with this? So this is a time when we notice what we wish to, or what truths we wish to speak into the large group about a fruit of today's practice, or insight, or something you learned. Maybe speaking of any bodily sensation that's noticed when the conceits arise of superior, inferior, or equal. And maybe noticing as you contemplate speaking to the group or not, are there conceits that arise? And is there any receiving, accepting, allowing? All is welcome to share at this time. Speaking the truth, even just to yourself right now. Is there a feeling of separation or contraction, or of openness and ease? Whatever's there, the invitation is to notice and welcome and share if you wish. I am going to bring this part of our practice to a close now with a bell. Thank you all very much for your practice. Such a pleasure to be with you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Bea will bring our practice to a conclusion with our merit and offerings of gratitude.
Recognizing our human shared nature and our common wish to be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace and free of suffering, without limits, without boundaries. Que todos tengamos paz, que tengamos paz. May all beings be at peace.
Thank you, Bea.
Thank you.